Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fine Cut. Today's episode we'll be discussing the new Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And my guest today is a good friend of mine. It's Trevor. How are you doing, Trevor?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You're actually on a very special episode because this is the first time that we're actually using these nice new microphones. So yeah. So we'll
Pretty
begin.
sweet.
Yeah. We'll begin stands from, but sadly we did not get those in yet, so we are just going to be holding them. So yeah, it's going to look a little weird, but we're going to get some stands, and it's going to be all good. But yeah, so we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
So yeah, well, since we're talking about Ant-Man, we're going to be talking about the MCU as well.
Of course.
And since this is a new movie, spoiler warning. I'll say this straight up. This is going to be a spoiler thing.
It'd be hard to talk about without spoilers.
It really is hard to talk without spoilers, but yeah. So, what did you think? I always ask my guests what they thought of the movie. So, what was?
So my overall thoughts was that it was good overall.
Okay.
So like, it's getting a lot of hate. I've noticed, like a lot of early reviews.
Yeah,
are not
it's
favorable.
the second. It holds the second MCU movie that's in the Rotten Tomatoes.
What's the other one?
Eternals.
See, I liked Eternals. I'm that weird person that liked Eternals. So
I thought it like. Hopefully this doesn't dive into we'll dive in more into what we want to see from the MCU later.
yeah.
Yeah, no, Eternals was there. Eternals was like definitely this movie and Eternals to me are very similar solely because they have a lot of stuff that I like, but a lot of stuff that I dislike. So they're very both like kind of 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I mean, so I think the main thing that didn't work for the movie was the humor.
Okay.
I think there was some bad jokes that weren't very funny.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. But those didn't bother me that much, to be honest.
There was like a few like jokes. I definitely read some reviews before I saw it, and there was a lot of reviews that were like, "Oh, the jokes, they're very misplaced," and I would agree with that because there is some that are just like, why?
There's one or two that make the film come to a screeching halt to tell them.
There's the one that stands out in my mind, and like I said, this is a spoiler review, so please go see this movie before.
Form your own opinion.
I am not here to tell you what to think, but there's one joke in particular that is the citrus joke that just kind of felt out of place. Where
that one is actually a callback.
Oh yeah, no, I know it's a callback. I know it's a callback to like the
Civil War.
Civil War, where he's like, "Anyone have any orange slices?" It's like that was a horrible impression of it, but yeah, to me that was very.
I didn't even remember that one.
Yeah, it's just like she grows big, and then she's like, I need something like a lime," and he's like, "Yeah, citrus." It's like, and then this whole battle's happening behind them. Yeah. So
I think the main ones that were really annoying to me was like the Veb character.
Yeah.
And
okay. I personally enjoyed the Veb character.
It's so Rick and Morty because it's the writer from Rick and Morty.
Jeff Loveness is the writer of this movie, and he's very big in Rick and Morty.
When Rick and Morty first came out, I thought it was really funny, but then it got less funny for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's because I got older, but
yeah, it's one of those shows that I can just kind of turn on and let my brain just kind of melt for a few hours.
So that's definitely that Jeff. What's his name? Loveness.
Jeff Loveness. Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely his influence on the movie. So there was that one, and then also like a lot of the stuff with Modoc was pretty. Because spoiler alert, they make him into like he's actually Darren Cross.
Yes.
From the first Ant-Man
that is
movie.
like that is I've noticed with Marvel movies. Just you bring up Darren Cross as Modoc. Yeah. I've noticed this about Marvel movies that it's very. There's always that one thing that they're like, oh, you guys, you're not gonna believe it. This person's gonna be like. They try to keep it secret, and then it's like everyone guesses it. Like everyone guessed that Modoc was gonna be Darren Cross.
Really? I didn't see anything about that.
I saw a bunch of people talking about it.
I mean, I felt like most of the intrigue was just Kang, and Kang's in all of the trailers.
Yes.
He was the marketing of the entire movie.
I think when they announced this, they were like, oh, Kane's going to be in it. And everyone's like, oh, Kane. And then I think the first trailer released, and that's when we saw Modoc. And everyone was like, Modoc, what is he doing here?
So,
and then it was like, oh, well, Darren Cross, he went down to the quantum realm. So
yeah, the thing with Modoc is like most of his lines were very stupid, and like the jokes were bad. But I like the idea of him being down there in the quantum realm. I like the idea that like when he got like shrunk down weirdly in the first movie, it left him deformed like that. I mean, that makes sense.
Definitely.
And then like Kang found him and gave him some robot parts or whatever.
Oh yeah,
makes sense. Totally makes sense to me.
I'm very happy that they brought back Corey Stoll, the actor, to play him. I think he's one of the good parts of Ant-Man, the original.
You could argue you could barely tell from his like CGI face.
Yeah. I mean, I think he has a very distinctive voice that you could kind of tell, but he very much is.
His blown up face like that did look funky.
Yeah.
But, you try making a CGI face.
Exactly,
That's what I say. It didn't bother me that much. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, this movie as a whole, we're talking about our like parts that we like and dislike, but I think the movie as a whole is definitely a step in the wrong. It's almost like it's taking.
It's a step above Thor, for sure. In terms of like the last Thor movie, in terms of like CGI, I think the very beginning.
I do like that there is a floating head in both of them, and this one I noticed that I'm like, this one's way better.
I did. Oh yeah, floating head like Modoc floating head or
no. When Kang is like doing his little speech, and then he gets interrupted by Cassie, and Cassie's like, "Hey guys, we gotta fight together."
We'll talk about that part later, because I have a thought about that.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say like the cold open kind of thing before the title screen, where it was like Janet Van Dyne in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
It felt very like Dune to me almost. I thought that was cool, and then like Jonathan Majors, Kang being introduced, like he crash lands, and then he's like falling over injured in the sand or whatever. It was like I like that. That was a good way to open it. A little weird. And then you immediately see some like CGI creatures and you're like, "Oh, what am I watching for a second?"
But I mean it does come back in the end, or it comes back near the end of the second.
Those particular creatures at the beginning looked like the weird spider thing from Dune. Do you remember? Oh,
the one, the like pet.
Yeah. That's like made out of like humans or something.
Yeah,
really. Sorry for that reference, but
spoilers to Dune 2021, I guess.
Well,
we'll talk. Maybe I'll have you on for the Dune talk later this year.
Yeah,
because Dune 2 is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's that. I'll have a lot of guests that are like really clamoring for it, but what do you think of the kind of connection that a lot of people were making to this being the Marvel's Star Wars? Because I would personally agree with
speaking
this.
of Star Wars,
yes, I think I know where you're going with this.
The part where Cassie gets in the control room and puts out a message to all like the rebels of the quantum realm, and is like, "Hey guys, you should help us fight because it's the thing to do," That felt very much like Star Wars Episode 9, which is like the worst Star Wars movie to reference or like draw any parallels to.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up to like the alien-looking broccoli guy, like looking at the
Oh, yeah.
hologram or whatever, is like, this is that is straight out of Star Wars in
Yeah.
a bad way.
I mean,
That was the only thing that made me really think Star Wars, though.
yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of people were pointing out that it's like different creatures and like
Yeah, well,
it's a different world, and I'm like, I can see where they're coming from, and I would agree with it that it's like the feel of it is very Star Warsy,
sure,
but the story is not.
the story didn't. I think the story was good. I think the overall plot made sense.
Yeah.
I like. Obviously, Kang was a great bad guy.
I think Jonathan Major's performance.
He
as
was
Kang
probably the best
is
acting in the film.
best part of this. I mean, I do have a soft spot for Paul Rudd, but
Yeah, Paul Rudd does the whole Ant-Man
Yeah.
thing well.
yeah,
I mean, he's kind of playing Paul Rudd playing
He's-
Ant-Man, but
yeah.
that was the whole deal with that character in the first place.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, I mean this.
so like, there's some Star Wars vibes, no doubt, and like I said, there's kind of Dune vibes for me at least.
Yeah,
I also got some like Journey to the Center of the Earth vibes, like the
I-
one with
yeah, I can
the
see
one,
that.
the one
Actually,
with
yeah, I
Brendan
can see that.
Fraser.
I've not seen that, but I
Well,
can definitely
maybe you
see.
should. It's actually not that bad.
Maybe I'll have to watch it then. Maybe
Well, I
I'll-
haven't seen it recently. Maybe it's not as good as I remember. I saw it when I was like 10. So.
Yeah, it's always that nostalgia, like
Yeah.
coat of paint that.
Yeah, but overall, the Quantum Realm felt pretty unique to me.
Yeah,
It didn't feel like... it had some vibes of other things, but it was still its own thing.
yeah. I mean, the quantum realm setting, I think, is an interesting setting for this movie solely because
It kind of contradicts what we've seen from the Quantum Realm and
Yeah.
the previous movies, but I guess it's supposed to be like deeper in it.
yeah. But I mean, this I will say for the quantum realm, I really enjoyed the like look of it.
No, there's a lot of art going into
yeah.
it. And for it being like an entirely CGI
Mhm.
place, I think it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean I can like I said, it definitely gives that Star Wars vibe because it almost feels like I think a thing that I really liked about this, especially with the building of the quantum realm, was the fact that they showed a decent amount of different kind of territories within the quantum realm.
I dig that there's like people down there.
Yeah.
No explanation as to why they're down there, but like, do you really need that? But
Yeah.
I like how there's people down there. I like how Janet is like cool with them.
Yeah.
She did spend a lot of time down there. So
Oh yeah,
it
she
makes
spent
sense.
30 years down there. I
I
think
don't
she
like.
said.
It's not a plot hole or anything. It just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, but what I was getting at is that I really like that there's like that like desert, and then there's like the high life,
Yeah.
and then the street life, and then you got the Kang kind
Yeah.
of dynasty thing.
Well, speaking of that little part of the movie, like when she goes up to the guy and like, hey, what's your problem here? And she slices off his arm or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
and it's like, we're actually cool. It's like that was dumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like I said, to me, it's very, very half for me. It's very like I really like I like the look of it. I like some of the the characters. I mean, like I said, Paul Rudd. I think
Bill Murray's cameo. I actually
yeah.
enjoyed that part. I know some people
Yeah.
probably won't.
It's one of those cameos that I think a lot of people will look and go, "Oh, great! It's another one of these."
He is playing a character from the comics, actually,
Oh, yeah.
but it's a very minor character.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of hype up so much about these Marvel movies.
I mean,
is
that
it's
that
like
trailer with like that Elton John music
I love
was
that.
astounding.
I really loved that.
The trailer is better than the movie, but I mean
kinda
that's
is, yeah.
that's a good trailer though. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even an insult.
No, yeah,
So-
it's yeah. I mean, I think the like because reason why I want to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp is also because I want to kind of talk to you about what you want to see in the future from Marvel, because I think they've noticed, they kind of came out with an update that they are going to slow down a bit because there is a lot of content coming out. They had just announced.
They're churning it out. It's a machine.
Yeah,
and they're part of the reason some of the CGI looks bad is because they're rushing these people. You
exactly. I think because they just announced that, or Kevin Feige just said that. I think Loki season 2 and Secret Invasion are the only two that are only two Marvel TV shows that are like definitely coming out this year. And they just moved the Marvels back to November with the release of that teaser poster.
Which I saw.
Yeah.
It's good poster.
It's a fine poster. It's a fine teaser poster. But, I mean, especially with a lot of... My one, like, quarrel with a lot of the Marvel stuff is that they've when they announced Phase 5 and 6, I think the end of Phase 6 was ending in 2024.
Yeah,
like, and they announced this in mid 2022. So I'm like, if we look at the first 3 phases, that spanned 10 years.
Yeah,
it started in 2008, 2009, and it ended in 2019.
They're trying to turn them out fast.
Yeah.
I get it. Some stuff is time sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like, they want to bring around the young Avengers at some point. And it's like, well...
Yeah, they kind of need to...
The actors you have in mind, they got to be young
think, well, also, I mean, to bring up Marvel is also to bring up the pandemic. I think that's a big thing that kind of affected it, because I think Shang-Chi and Black Widow and WandaVision and...
I don't know
Falcon
why
and Winter Soldier. They were all supposed to come out like 2020.
They delayed Black Widow so long. I don't know why they did that.
Money.
Well,
that's why.
Okay, but
people want. They're not. I mean,
true.
They wanted money. I mean, Black Widow, when it came out, it was $30 to buy it on Disney Plus. So I mean,
not a good deal, folks.
Yeah. So it was money, and I mean, I think they kind of realized that a lot of people are getting Marvel fatigue.
But this Ant-Man movie I think was better than Black Widow. I didn't really like Shang-Chi that much, to be honest with you. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
The Doctor Strange movie I didn't hate as much as everyone else did.
I've come around to it. I didn't like it when I first saw it, and I kind of now I'm like, okay, I can kind of sit and dig this.
I'm okay with it. The Black Panther movie that we saw together at that AMC.
Oh yes.
That one took a very serious tone. Well, there was a little bit of humor, but it was mostly serious, and I think that helped it a lot.
Oh yeah. I think think the one thing that and this goes for like all of Marvel. I think we're now in the all Marvel we want to see in the future section, but I think a big thing about
I want to see them take risks.
I wanted to see them take risks, and that is something that I think they really haven't done. But I think a lot of what they're going for is a lot more comedic Marvel, which
not every character needs to be like
exactly
like that. Like Modoc in the movie, like if he was a little more villainous.
Oh yeah,
and he should be because he's the bad guy from the first movie. He has a history with them, right? And they just turned him into like a cartoon character.
Yeah,
it's like, is he even like Darren Cross from the first movie?
I think Modoc. I think
he's
now
really not.
I think. I mean, it could definitely be like they could easily just be like, oh, it's because of the mechanism and stuff like that. But
maybe the being shrunk messed up his mind. Okay,
but I mean,
but like
that's kind of the scapegoat way of being like, oh, look.
So like. King is not a quippy character.
Oh no,
he's serious,
full serious,
and that's why he's the best character.
Yeah,
he's good. He's serious. He's a little scary.
Yeah,
which you need.
Yeah,
for a villain.
Exactly.
I mean, I get like Modoc is so goofy. How could he be scary? So that's the angle they went with, I guess. But King is pretty scary.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
he beats the crap out of Ant-Man at the end.
Oh yeah, he does. I will say, since we're talking about the future of what we want to see, what we don't want to see in Marvel, I think one thing that I will take away from seeing this movie is that I am very excited to see where Jonathan Majors takes Kang.
Because obviously he's going to be a big part of what they're doing.
Yes, I mean I think it is it the first. I think the first part of the next of 2 Avengers movies is called the Kang Dynasty. So
Yeah,
I mean, he's kind of a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and that's so the ending of the movie I feel like was a pretty missed opportunity because you like Kang is defeated or like dies, but you know he's not dead. But it would have been a good opportunity for them to take a risk and kill off one of the main characters. Like,
Yeah,
if not Ant-Man, then maybe the Wasp or Hank Pym.
I think honestly, like killing off.
Because that would have made this movie matter.
Oh, yeah.
Because by the end of it, they all get out of the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Kang is defeated.
everyone's
What
safe.
has changed?
They're literally having. Yeah, it is a very like.
So that's where most people are coming from, and I totally get it. Because they do foreshadow that there's stuff coming though.
Yeah.
Like for I didn't notice this upon watching it originally, but I saw a video about it, and I thought it was a really, really good detail. So, like, Scott Lang, he worked at Baskin Robbins the one time, and then, like, at the end, his boss makes him a cake or whatever, and it has an ant on it. And at the very end, he takes a bite out of it, and it tastes bad.
Yeah.
And, like, when he gets out of the quantum realm, and he's like, oh, God, did we just, like, release the horrors of Kang on us? And then, like, the cake has a bad taste. You're left with a bad taste at the end. And I think that's very deliberate. Because it's like, it's telling you there's some stuff coming. Now, it's like we didn't get anything, like, in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is, missed opportunity. Like, they could have killed off Hank Pym. He's old. How many more movies does Michael Douglas want to do for the MCU? You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
Like, they could have done something to make this movie matter more.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hope whenever Kang does come back, it is the same Kang. It's not like a different Kang. Because then, like, if it's a different Kang, then, like, what was the point?
Yeah.
It needs to be that one. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because, like, there's variants or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think what is very... like I said, looking to the future of the MCU.
Before we move on to the next part, I just want to say... Because, like, the trailer also made it seem like someone was going to die. Because, like, Ant-Man was like, neither of us need to win. Both of us need to lose.
Yeah.
So you felt like there was going to be some kind of sacrifice or something, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Paul Rudd, how many movies does Paul Rudd still have in his contract is my question.
I hate that. I hate that people keep digging up like their contract information, so we know he's in 12 more movies. Yeah. It's like, stop it. Keep that under wraps.
I mean,
Marvel.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I'm like, hey. But at the same time, like I said, looking to the future, I think that's one of the things that I don't want to see is because they did this in Multiverse of Madness where they were like, oh, look, John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. But I'm like, and then they come back and they're like, oh, he's not actually the actual Mr. Fantastic. And I'm like, oh okay, but you got to kind of keep that kind of sense and feel, I think. So when you say that they need to bring back that original Kang, they do. I think they definitely have to bring back that original Kang.
Because if he hasn't interacted with the characters that we know, then
Exactly.
It's like when they had Mordo and Doctor Strange. I'm parroting stuff that like I saw in videos, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like I watched Jeremy Johns and some of those other guys. Screen Crush was where I got the cake thing. I didn't think of that originally. I'm not that smart. But, still, they're right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's my big takeaway from Ant-Man and the Wasp is that it's like Marvel needs to slow down is the first thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, this whole Council of Kangs, it's a cool thing.
And
I
they'll
would
get to
love-
it eventually.
I'd love to see like the Kang Dynasty like be like all these Kangs versus the Avengers kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also like, I can wait. I could honestly wait like
I mean,
4 years for it.
Isn't it like next year? Like next summer, probably.
It's
One of
right
them
now.
is,
It's still kind of like I think it's 2024 is when it's coming out. But I could, I mean, I can wait. I think that's what made the first 3 like phases so
Yeah.
interesting and good. Is that like you saw like I think what was it? I think it was Black Panther, Thor. No, it was Black Panther, Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think there was one right there. There was one between
One in between
Infinity War
and Endgame.
No, there was there was 2. I think that's where. Oh my God,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just remember. I remember like Black Panther led into Infinity War, and we got that feel of Wakanda and Black Panther, and then we went into Infinity War, and we were still in Wakanda, and then we were like, oh, we know that from the last movie. Where it feels like now, it's like. It also feels like they're kind of just going in 50 directions, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll tie it up in the end. And it's like, yeah, but like.
I get what they're doing, and I had because they had to make the multiverse thing happen.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that like Kang is keeping it to one timeline, so he doesn't have to deal with other versions of himself.
Yeah.
And then he gets tired of that, and he lets like Loki, female Loki, whatever her name is, I don't know, kill Loki, like that version of,
Kang.
that version of Kang
Yeah.
dies, and then now the multiverse things can happen, but it's all happening at the same time, which is like kind of a weird concept.
Yeah, it's
And then, so things are about to get crazy.
Kind of like.
The idea is like
Yeah.
things are gonna get crazy, but it's
Yeah.
like when is the crazy happening? It's not
Exactly.
not yet.
Exactly. I think like it's cool to see those like 1 or 2 side stories. But I definitely think like I want more kind of linear like okay, this leads into this because of this kind of thing. Like I said, the Black Panther movie came out before Avengers Infinity War. And in Infinity War, they were in Wakanda, so we still had that
Yeah,
where
I get what you're saying.
I think
'Cause, like, are they gonna go back to the quantum realm at any point?
exactly,
Like,
and I
maybe
think like
not.
even like my big one is Doctor Strange and like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Are we gonna go back to a lot of these? Like some of the other dimensions.
Well, what everyone hated about that movie is they didn't even like go to any interesting different realities.
Well, that's what I'm like. Can we go back to that one dimension that they went to? Like, how did that feed into, the next movie, which I think was like Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
Like, how does that feed into that? And then how does Thor: Love and Thunder feed into,
Did that
like,
feed into anything?
Did that
I
exactly?
don't
like,
really know.
Because I mean, I think you
Thor's
could,
a dad now.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's the one takeaway. But I mean, like you look at all the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 movies, they all lead into one another. Like,
Yeah,
I
they're
think-
building on each other. It
Exactly.
doesn't feel like they're building on each other. That
exactly. I mean, there's multiple videos out there that are like,
well.
oh,
You can hear it from smarter people than
Yeah.
us, probably.
But I mean, it's something that I definitely think that needs to be constantly repeated because, I mean, I look at it. The only one that really kind of built upon things was, oddly enough, Loki happened, and then that was built upon from Endgame,
Yeah.
and then that was even built up, and then it was also like Spider-Man: No Way Home built upon that even with the multiverse kind of thing.
Spider-Man No Way Home was whack.
You didn't like it?
Not as much as other people, that's for sure.
That's understandable. I thought it
don't
was
know.
well-produced fan fiction.
Yeah, it felt like fan fiction. That was the problem with it.
Okay, yeah,
It was like,
but like,
we got
even
Willem
then-
Dafoe as Goblin again. So.
yeah, but even then, it's like, are we going to expand? Are we going to build on one another? Like I said, like Wakanda or Black Panther built upon Infinity War. Infinity War. Oh wait, it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's
Oh.
what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Ant-Man and the
right.
Wasp came out after Infinity War.
That
And-
yeah. Because they get
Yeah, they get blipped at the end.
Scott was trapped down
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
But even then, that built upon Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then I think Captain Marvel was the next one that came out after that.
Captain Marvel didn't. That
Like-
movie was not good.
But even then, it was built upon Infinity War with that whole end credit
Well-
scene. And then it added into Endgame.
If by like the next movie we see that because of what Ant-Man did, King is like, I mean, they kind of freed him, right? Because
Kinda, yeah.
he gets trapped in like the thing from his ship,
Yeah.
but like, if
It begs the question, is
like,
he more powerful
He
now?
can probably get out of the quantum realm
Yeah.
somehow. So, I mean, that would make this movie matter a little bit,
Definitely.
but only if some of the characters get killed off, man.
Yeah.
They need to kill off some of the characters, and they don't do it.
Yeah. That's
Because like
that's
you
a
gotta
big
have
thing.
some stakes.
Oh, definitely.
It can't like even with the thing with Thanos, it's like
Yeah.
the only characters that died were Black Widow and
And-
like
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Well, Iron Man was a big one, obviously, but Black Widow, Iron Man,
But, like,
and then
even-
Gamora, but not
yeah,
really.
but not really. Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we both can agree that Marvel just needs to slow down. They need to take their time and just build on one another. Do what you did originally. You guys did it once. You guys probably have a blueprint out there. Do it again. But yeah, I think we coming to an end of this conversation, and I wanted to ask you, since this is an Ant-Man episode, have you seen the first two Ant-Man? I assume you
Yes.
have. I've assumed you have.
Yes.
But so how would you rank them? Is my question.
That is a really good question because I think they're all very samey.
Yes.
I think I don't. It's hard to even remember. Okay, so the first Ant-Man he fights Yellow Jacket.
Yes.
The second Ant-Man
Fights
he
the Ghost Girl, or I think her name's
Ghost
Ghost.
is like the bad guy, but she's more like a anti-hero.
Yeah.
She's not like evil. And then the one
Mhm.
business guy
Yeah.
who's like an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Or what? Like so that was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
That's really tough. I don't know how to rank them. I'd say that I'd probably 1, 2, 3, but like
That's what I was thinking.
by the thinnest of margins.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Actually, I think I like this one better than the second one.
Okay, so you go Ant-Man 1,
Ant-Man,
Ant-Man 3, and then Ant-Man 2.
Probably.
I would probably go 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I really do love the first Ant-Man. I think it's a fun kind of like heist kind of movie, but yeah. And then the second one is just kind of like, oh, okay, but I enjoyed the second one a lot more than this one, I would say.
There was some cool
But-
stuff going on.
But
There's
yeah,
some cool stuff in this one. There's some
yeah.
genuinely cool things happening in this movie.
exactly.
Like,
But I think it all boils down to they just need to kind of take their time, expand, take your time.
if you're gonna
take your
tell
time.
jokes all the time, make them funny.
Yeah. So
Like, make them actually good. And
Yeah.
not like, basic.
yeah. So that's pretty much it. Just Marvel, come on, you can do better.
They can.
They can. So yeah. I want to thank Trevor for being here.
Thank you.
You can go follow me on Letterboxd at _filmworker_. Where can they find you, Trevor?
I'm also on Letterboxd. I don't even know my username now. I think it's just my name, but
I can put it up here. I'll
Edit-
find it.
yeah,
I'll find it. It's gonna be up there.
put it in post.
Yep, I'll put it in post.
Um,
So yeah,
I have some hot takes.
we all do on Letterboxd. So
We're all film snobs in our own special way.
pretty much. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for sitting here talking with me about Ant-Man for however long this video is. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching. Please subscribe to Oakland SVP, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Bye.
Peace.
Nice.